Hi guys and welcome back to Christian Cast where I will bait so you don't have to. So today we are just gonna go back into our mold and we're gonna do some changes to create a higher resistance towards the first trout grub away from the casting channel, from the main channel. I'll straight away show you guys how you can do it quite easily. I'm not sure if it is the same in every drawing software, but I'll show you how I did it to offset them off of the pattern themselves. And then we'll print it and straight away cast also the new form today and see if we were able to actually get a consistent flow throughout the whole mold. So I'll straight away pop you over to the screen. We'll go through the the functions I used to move the trout grubs in a 45-degree angle. I'll show you guys how I did that. And then we'll print it with the same settings as the other one and head over into the workshop and cast it straight away. So I'll see you in a moment on the screen. So welcome to the drawing software. As you guys can see, we are starting from the original trout grub where we have already applied the linear pattern. How you can create the trout grub itself was in the first part of this small series, so you can check it out if you want to. But today we are just going to focus on actually improving the mold itself. And it is a very easy function in this drawing software because, as you guys can see, once we do the linear pattern, you can do 3 bodies, 5 bodies, 8 bodies, as many as you want to. You can actually go ahead and you can highlight the bodies that you are gonna then move, or if you want to do anything else, so you can highlight them and they are the ones that you have chosen. So now before we do that, we will actually go into a sketch because, as you know, I am planning to do it with a 45-degree angle. So we will make a help sketch that we will go ahead and do 100 millimeters in this direction, and we'll go 100 millimeters in this direction, and we'll just join them to each other. Through that, we have got our 45-degree angle that we will be pushing our trout grubs into. So now we can go ahead and we can select our first grub and we choose the button in the axis and just start moving it towards our 45-degree angle. That was a little bit too far. You can calculate this as well, but we will end up about here. And you can check that out. And just like that, you have moved it further away from the main channel. We will still select this one and also move him back. And go ahead. Check that that fits. You can see that actually looks quite good. And here as well. So that is going to be how our trout grubs are going to be offset from the main channel. We will now still go into the main form itself. I prepared everything already to show you how the channel and everything looks once we added it. This was just to show you how to move your trout grubs that you can increase the resistance towards the topmost. So, welcome. We are now just going to look at how I created the channel, how it looks. We kept most of it the same. The only things that we actually changed is that we did the airing vent. We actually added it into the flow channel of the material. That means, well, I'm hoping for at least, that once the material goes in here, that we push out the air and it goes actually into this channel as well and gets dragged out. And once there's material also going through here, because we're actually hoping that this trout grub itself is now the one with the least resistance, so material also passes through this one. So we'll see that with the second color when we start casting today, that it pushes through material and drags with all the air bubbles, and then it flows through here. the material from here also joins and flushes out towards the top. But we'll anyway see how it works through keeping this diameter, because you could also, if you would keep it at the same size of this inlet, you could also just lengthen this a lot longer, but through reducing the diameter here, we are hoping to have really the most resistance in the top form, and we'll see how that goes. The last thing that I then still did, as you all know, is to add it into one of our blocks, place these screws. There's a lot of screws in this one because we're going to try and really tighten it a lot and see that we don't have any leakage once again, and we'll see how it performs. And I'll see you guys in the workshop in a moment, because I'll straight away meet you over there. We'll prepare the form a little bit, and then we'll see how it casts and go through the casting result as well, discuss it a little bit. We'll see if it works or if we still have to change something, or because you can still work with this angle as I said in the last video, but we'll anyway go through that once we've finished the mold of today. So see you soon in the workshop. Hi and welcome to the workshop. As you saw, we changed the 3D print, we changed the mold, how it fills, and all the infill channels. So we now gonna prepare it a little bit. I'm just gonna sand over quite roughly because we want to see how the flow is. I'll straight away plonk it onto the desk, get everything ready, and once it's ready for casting, I'll get you guys back, because we don't want to drag it out too long, because you anyway know how I cast it, how I prepare it. It's all in the other videos, so you can check that out if you're interested. But we just want to see if we were able to improve it once again, and we'll cast it, and then we'll go through the demolding process again, and take a look at how it actually performed, and if we were able to increase the consistent flow through the mold, or if it is still a little bit of a problem and what we can still change. So I'll straight away get you guys over to the desk and we'll start casting in a moment. So now we're gonna pull up our green once again, and then we're gonna start casting. There we go. And we've got our first hit at the top. Now we're just gonna flush out. Now just swap quickly once more and really try to flush through the entire mold. Now we'll change our color, and then we'll see how quickly we get a blue hit this time. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker. There we go. So now I drawed quite a lot of green up, and we will see how this actually performs. So we've got the first blue hit. Now we're just gonna flush it a little bit more that we can see better where it comes from once we open the mold. There we go. this and still make something out of the rest. And this we will just fill up still a bit and slowly take that in like that. And now we'll let that set and get ready, and then we will see each other as soon as it is hardened. Welcome back. It's the next day. I actually let it harden over the evening, so we're gonna just try and see. Oops, that was a bit rough. How it looks. How cool. So let's put this all back, and then I'll go through the things that we were able to actually achieve with this mold. I'm really happy with the result. It's really cool. As you see, with straight away I now see that the third one is starting to fill. We have got no A bubbles at all. If you look at our lures today, there is no A bubbles. That means we really flush the entire form very well. The air vents work, the pretty much everything. We don't have A bubbles on the sides, on the tops. So that is really cool to see. I'm really happy with that, because I was a little bit worried, because if you put in the injection, you actually blow in some bubbles if you are not careful. So you have to watch that once you start casting. You also see that we have got two very well mixed lures right here. You see that the fluid comes with, and you actually see that that also works quite well already. I actually straight away noticed that there is one thing we're still going to update before we have got our final version of this mold, but we are really pretty much done now. I'm very happy with how it works. We can play around with making adapters that we can add two colors at the same time with two injections that we might do anyway in a separate video. I'll make a adapter where I can plug in two injections into, and it's like a T part, so we're going to be making something like this that you can adapt with two injections here with two different colors and get two colors going into your foam. So we'll try that as well. And one thing that we are going to change is in the third grub. So if you look at our mold, I don't know if you can see that well. Let's do it. This is from last week still. So if you look at our mold right now, we come down with quite a broad one in here, a thinner one in here, and a thin one in there. And we are going for the 45-degree angle to our grubs. So we'll drag these out about to here. So we've got our angle with the 45 degrees sitting right here, and our trout grub right there. The thing is now that we have got the tail portion somewhere about here from the second one, and if we've got our grub, I'll quickly draw our grub. Like this, and we've got our grub here. Just very roughly, and we made the vent to our tail. It's not quite proportional. I'll show you guys right here. We made the vent from the tail up into this channel. And one thing that I didn't think about was I made these vents all the same size, which means we actually haven't got the problem sitting right here with the cast itself. we actually limit the flow also through this vent. Because the material gets pushed through, the form fills up nicely with the first time. That's why we've got a nice consistent color with the first color, because it fills it up. Once it's here, the resistance actually is higher again because it has to push out through this thin vent right here. So I am now going to go ahead and make the vent of our last mold bigger than the vent of the second mold, and I'll do a step down again towards the top. So we'll do a vent that is a little bit longer on the last mold down here, a little bit shorter here, and shortest right here. So through that, we should be able to have a consistent flow, even more than we have already achieved with the mold right now. So that's something that I'm still going to try. I'm pretty sure that then we will also have a little bit more of the original second color in here that goes into this mold as well, because then we will have these quite well and consistent. So that's something that I'm going to change. As you see, we have nearly no leakage in the whole form. We've just got a little bit on the flat surfaces, but that is very easy to clean up, so that is really cool to see. And I'll get you guys now for a outro, and we'll take a look at the mold one last time before we head into the changes for next week's video. So welcome back to the outro. I just wanted to show you guys how far we actually have come now with our mold. If you look at the two first casting variants, it is a lot smaller and the form is a lot compactor, which is cool. I'll also be playing around to see if we are able to change the mold that really works well and just get it a little bit compactor, that you can actually print two halves on the A1 Mini, because at the moment I print one half and then the second half. Just for time reasons, I would like to compact it a little bit more, and there would be less material in the printed form itself. One thing you're not allowed to forget, if you print the form and the form works well, you can cast a lot of trout grubs with it. In the final video of this small series, I will go into costs. So we'll be looking at how much the material costs, how much one trout grub ends up to actually cost at all. So we'll be looking at prices of different variants. We'll be going with brand names. We'll be going with no names. I'll calculate the final price for one trout grub, and we'll compare it to the trout grubs we are making with our silicon mix. So I will be also testing different materials still. So I just wanted to show you, as you see, the material intake has changed a lot. We were first completely green, a lot of air bubbles. We had problems with flushing it out. The air bubble problem was a lot better with the second mold, and also we started to intake the second color into the second trout grub with the second form. And now with the final form that we made last, I'm still going to update, as I said, the air vent of the last grub, the air vent of the second grub, and the air vent of the top grub, just to change a little bit more and reduce the friction and resistance in this last variant, because as you see, we have got color pushing through to the last one, but it doesn't get taken in. It actually then chooses the two other variants of the way to fill the form. So we are going to look into that, change that a little bit, and then we will be having a final form. And I thank you guys for going along with this journey. It's been a little bit of a longer project. If you like how this video format was made with a little small series kind of thing, please let me know. If you have any ideas, if you would be interested for me to release this mold once it's finished on my Etsy store, also please drop it in the comments, because then I might actually even release this one. I wasn't too sure if somebody would be interested in it, if they would want something like this, but that's why I asked these questions. And otherwise, thanks for joining and sticking around till now. We'll see each other for next week's video, and hopefully we will have the final trout grub form and this little small series will be done because I want to get back to airbrushing. And we'll see each other. Keep on fishing and stay safe. Cheers.